Team presents.
Okay, here we go with another podcast. I want to start this one off with just congratulating not only my own efforts, but also the inspiration indirectly of other artists, such as, a good drummer I met at a local venue by the name of Mike Pride, and also a record he did that I purchased called The Avenging Angel. Had another trumpeter player by the name of Kirk Kanufke on it, and I gotta just give a shout out because their work kind of inspired me to go forth and complete the project I just did. So it's finished now. For the most part, it's up on Spotify, it's up on iTunes, and a re-release is actually in the works right now as well as a physical release. So shout out. But in this week's podcast, I gotta understand something, because right now I'm a little confused. I'm reading everywhere and I'm seeing everywhere on the news, everywhere I turn around, that Manny Pacquiao, with his recent decision to face Terrence Crawford to face Jesse Vargas instead of Terrence Crawford, is a money move where he's avoiding danger and avoiding a real challenge. And I'm a little confused on something, because Terrence Crawford is fighting at 140. According to the negotiations that I heard, he will not budge from 140. Excuse me. He will not budge from 140. Not only that, he turns around, and I'm hearing in negotiations that he wants to fight Danny Garcia and that he plans to move up to 147. I find it funny how you don't want to move from 140, then suddenly you're willing to go up to 147, and nobody's questioning that. And somehow Manny is ducking Terrence Crawford, but he's willing to fight Floyd again. So by default, we have now elevated Terrence Crawford to a level of way more dangerous. He's a money generator now, right? He's a legitimate box office sensation because of his fight with Nick Postol. His first pay-per-view fight against a B-level guy, and he's an absolute premier box office guy now, right? But we're elevating him above Mayweather now, and we're doing this off of what performances? His victory over a stick figure, Nick Postol. Now, Nick Postol, he was proven off of what? No one knew his name until he beat a washed-up Matisse. He beats a washed-up Matisse who's lost to Devin Alexander, amongst others, and who's been inconsistent his whole career. Postol beats him, and suddenly Postol is like a deity. Oh, if you beat Postol, you're the man. So now he beats Postol. Before that, he beat Hank Lundy. And before that, he beat Gamboa. Gamboa is the one who put him on the map. All of those guys undersized. All those guys are a foot shorter than him. He weathers their punches and manages to just stand toe-to-toe with them, push them against the ropes, and pound them out. He's letting off hooks and uppercuts on Hank Lundy while eating shots himself because he has no fear of getting knocked out. And he's doing it with a smile on his face. And we're taking those performances against those B-level guys, and we're putting this guy on a pedestal now, saying that he's a feared guy. So now he's a box office sensation because he has his first pay-per-view against Postol. And he's a dangerous knockout artist because of a couple of stoppage wins over B-level guys that stand 5'1". Like, are we really serious right now? And you're really going to tell me, oh, Jesse Vargas, that's a safer fight? Crawford is 140. There's a reason why he said no to Manny as far as moving up to 147. He knows when he comes up, just like Adrian Broner, his power will not translate to 147.
Now,
the real power that he has. want to understand. I want to know what it's all come to, because you're an analyst. You've been in the game for 10 years, 10 to 20 years. You've been in the game for a while now, cutting your teeth. And that's what comes out of your mouth. Like, to me, you can't be fooled that easily and be considered an analyst in anything. In anything. Your job is to rise above that. Let the common layman fall underneath that, where a sparkly light or a little flashy twinkle here fools them and they drop everything that's in their hand. Let the layman do that. You're supposed to be an analyst, an intellect, and you're getting caught like that? The same show. We're not even going to get on the discussion of PEDs, which we can get on that. We all know the probability of what's going on with the Errol Spences and the Terrence Crawfords. We know the game that's being rigged there. We know what organizations will do to push a star to the top and generate some money. Let's not be stupid now. Because on the regards to the PEDs, it's clear. I said this time and time again, and I'll say it again. I had a whole discussion on this, and I will reopen that discussion now just in case it was missed. There is a correlation between the intellect and the artist. You cannot have a non-intellect society that's artistic. If one dies, the other dies. It's a theory that I've been constantly preaching to people when I used to teach music, or when I just had discussions for the longest time. People always look at the elite artist and they think that talent is some a mystical flame that just ignites inside someone and carries them to do amazing things and then places them back down the ground. That's the layman's reasoning for it, because that's the way the layman understands it. But if you analyze every great artist, including athletes, musicians, because art is an all-encompassing field, if you analyze them, you will find from all throughout history, all the way till now, they think differently. They reason differently. Their passion is different. Our passion is different, because I am an artist. And I always look at non-artists and I laugh, because they don't understand the drive and the hunger. And that's part of it. You're not supposed to understand it, because that's part of what separates an artist from you. An artist is not just a pack of mindless talent where he doesn't even know what he's doing it. No. He has inherently in him a desire to excel, a desire where it's never enough. That's what makes an artist. But see, the thing about it is, we live in a society today that's pretty much bred the artist out of existence. The only people you find are a few vestiges here and there of individuals that are from a bygone era, old heads or old souls that still hold on to that drive and that passion and that appreciation for it. That's it. As far as the new breed, it's all about just getting results fast. There's no passion, there's no love for what you do. It's just you want to just get it and get in and out. Bottom line is, along with that is the death of the artist. You're not going to find elites like you used to. You're not going to find people that stand out. So the bottom line is, you can take that theory and you can take that and bring that to trial. Because if you test it, I guarantee you, if you actually thoroughly investigate it, you'll find all these people that are standouts are cheating. And I don't care how much you like them, how much you don't like them. I don't care how much I like them. In today's day and age, the new upstarts are cheaters. They're cheaters. I'm watching the Olympics and I'm laughing. You got generic Joe Schmoes. First of all, another thing I also said too is, there's an identifying mark. An artist is an artist is an artist. Meaning, if somebody's great or if somebody's special, put it that way, you're going to be able to tell whether they're competing or whether they're just having a conversation at a table. It's going to show the way they talk, the way they move, the way they are. There's no such thing as being a Joe Schmo and then all of a sudden you're head and shoulders above people, you're elite. It does not work that way. If you're really that good, people will be able to tell even when you're not competing. But look how many people you see head and shoulders above the field in their particular discipline. head and shoulders above. But a year ago, they were nobody. You look at a guy like Rafael dos Anjos. A year ago, Chael Sonnen. Just a year before their surge, they were getting pounded out left and right. Mediocre. They win one, they lose one. Then all of a sudden they go on a tear and they're beating people up. And all of a sudden we're talking about how great and elite they are and how head and shoulders they are above the rest of the game and how just people just can't handle them. What, all of a sudden? Well, all of a sudden you just dedicated yourself and now you just started training, all of a sudden you're great? It doesn't work that way. The dudes who are really great, take a Jordan for instance. You could see it at any phase in his life. You saw that spark. It was there. It doesn't matter what was going on, that spark was always there. There's no such thing as turning it on like a switch. You're not a Joe Schmo and then suddenly you're amazing. And all these people, I guarantee you, when some of these drug tests come back, a lot of them will cheat it, but a lot of them will come back positive, and you'll find out that, oh wow, the reason why she was lapping people, in track and field was because she was juicing. Or the reason why she was jumping like a foot higher in the high jump was because she was juicing. Or the reason why this guy was swimming to the end of the pool and watching the rest of the people who had been trained, they're behind her for 4 years, as they swam down, is because he was cheating. Yeah. And then it all makes sense. But we can go on the steroids case all day. Because I already know with Errol Spence and with Terrence Crawford was likely going on. I already called before he fought Postol. I said, look at the guy. He's rail thin. You watch his arms double in size before he faces Postol. This was days out from the fight. This is when he had the last press conference. The weigh-ins were like the next day or two. And the guy looks like a stick figure crackhead. Then, I called it, he walks into the weigh-in and walks into the ring looking like some type of jack killer. Because he took his vitamins. Yeah. But the bottom line is, you are manufacturing an illusion. Now, Mayweather, I don't like to equate too much with it because at the end of the day, whether you love him or hate him, however people feel about him, he was a legit guy with legit skill, legit talent. He legitimately is special. He did have that it factor. Regardless of the marketing that he did to push himself, he did have that it factor. He was legit. He just went about things the wrong way sometimes, but he did fight legit champions. But now you got guys that come up. I mean, really stop and ask yourself. I mean, really. Jesse Vargas fought Timothy Bradley and hurt him late in the fight. He hurt him. And he didn't just hurt him. He almost stopped him. But we're saying that he's an okay fighter. He's not bad, but he has no punching power. He's not a real threat. He's a safe fight for Manny. Are we really saying that? Jesse Vargas hurt Timothy Bradley in a championship fight at 147. A dangerous Timothy Bradley. He hurt him. Almost stopped him at 147. And now he wanted revenge, didn't get it. He wanted a Pacquiao fight, now he's got it. But he's safe. But Terrence Crawford, a little crackhead coming up from the lower weights. Now he's sitting at 140. He beats up Yorkis Gamboa, who stands 5'1", pounded on him, taking shots. As a matter of fact, Gamboa was taking it to him. And the attrition and the size difference, amongst other things, took their toll, and he eventually just wailed down on him with a smile on his face and beats Yorkis Gamboa. Then we elevate him to superstardom. Oh, he beat Yorkis Gamboa. Nobody looks at the particulars of what happened. He just beat Yorkis Gamboa, who Yorkis Gamboa was still in question for many reasons himself. The only reason why he was getting buzzed like that was because he was under the wing of 50 Cent, and so everybody wanted to see what was going to happen with him. It's not like he was some freaking killer who was at the top of the world. But he was somewhat of a name. So the minute Terrence Crawford beats him, nobody looks at the particulars. He's a superstar now. And I'm just stroking my chin watching all this. Then all of a sudden we have the fight with Hammer and Hank Lundy. Hammer and Hank Lundy was a guy who fought another guy, I forget his name, a Hispanic fighter, similar to Crawford, And he got pounded on by that dude. In a fight where he was talking a lot of smack. That was a fight where Hank Lundy was supposed to step up with that and be like a resurgence. He lost that fight. Nobody was even paying attention to him. But he was still somewhat of a name. So Terrence Crawford picks him. Another safe fight for him. And what does he do? He walks Lundy down to the ropes. No fear of being knocked out. And just wails on him. Taking punches and delivering punches until he stops Hank Lundy. And just keeps punching at him, smiling, because he knows he can't be hurt. And we're giving this guy elevation off of that win. So now he's a megastar. So now we're 2 pathetic wins in, and the guy's a megastar, right? So now the next fight, he's going to fight Postol, who just beat a washed-up Matisse. I'm like, okay, that should be somewhat of a test. Postol comes in the ring looking like a spaghetti head, bro. And once again, it's a safe 140 fight. He's got enough pop to keep the guys honest there. And he can take their punches and walk through them, but the juicy guys rolling through him. So he even runs for that fight. And he's able to eat the punches with a smile on his face. And he runs for that fight. Doesn't get a stoppage. He gets a couple stupid, idiotic knockdowns that really, really were questionable. And he runs for the fight. And now he's a pay-per-view. That was his first pay-per-view fight, mind you. But now he's a pay-per-view megastar. 3 pathetic performances in fights against 3 pathetic opponents. But because they were buzzworthy names, I can see now everything is about Twitter buzz. If you're hot for a minute, nobody looks at, are you legitimately a solidified star? It's just if your name is buzzing right now. Postol's name was buzzing for a little bit because he beat Matisse. Gamboa's name was buzzing for a little bit because he was signed with 50 Cent. Lundy's name was buzzing a little bit because I remember he was switching camps or whatever, and his name was in the spotlight before because he had a fight before that he lost. Just because Crawford fought a few buzzing opponents that were just buzzing trend-wise, that pushed him up to megastardom. Isn't that sick? And because of that, we're taking a 140 guy and saying that he's the biggest threat, and Pacquiao's running from him. A Pacquiao that's willing to fight Mayweather and wants that fight again. We're honestly sitting here and saying that, oh, no. He wants to fight Mayweather, but he's scared to death of Crawford because Crawford would kill him. Like, are we really sitting down and saying that with a straight face? And as an analyst who's supposed to analyze things completely objectively, you're supposed to look at the X's and O's. You're actually co-signing that. And you're an analyst. Like, that's where I lose so much respect for these guys. Like, I can't respect you. I cannot respect you. How the heck can you talk like that? And you're supposed to be an analyst. But that's the state that it's in right now. I mean, that's why I'm pretty much done watching the nonsense. It's only going to continue. It's going to perpetuate. Guys are going to continue getting elevated. And, I look forward to seeing the same Adrian Broner story happen to Terrence Crawford again. Just so I can watch people's stupid faces. Because what happened with Adrian Broner? Same story. He beats the likes of people like Ponce de Leon, just like B-rank, C-rank fighters. But it's all about buzz. So they're talking about him like, oh, is he the next hope? He's amazing. Can he be stopped? All this rah-rah. And what happened? The minute Adrian Broner moved up to 147, the whole game changed. All that power and that killer knockout power that he had was gone. Couldn't put away Paulie Malignaggi. Couldn't really put anybody away. Couldn't even put away that that boot black nigga he fought. Couldn't even put him away. I forget his name. Emmanuel Thomas or whatever his name was. Couldn't even put him away. All that changed. And what happened? Crawford knows that's the case. He knows. Watch his interviews in the ring after his fights. He has this look on his face like, man, why are you guys like so on the hype train? Even he has the look on his face. Because he's watching the media literally elevate him off a position. All he is in the right place fighting somebody who's just a buzzworthy opponent, and he's skyrocketing off of that. Gone are the days where you have to actually sit down and fight and have some actual tests and fight some legitimate champions and fight a string of them before you get put on the pedestal. Now, all you gotta do is just say the right thing at the right time in the right spot and you're a superstar. Nobody will question it. Terence Crawford did nothing but fight pathetic competition, and scantily at that, for the last year or so. And he's the most feared name in boxing next to Triple G. And Pacquiao's scared, that's why he's ducking him. What I said before was this. If there's any nod that I'll give Terence Crawford, he moves around the ring like Mayweather. He's able to stick and move like Mayweather. And I know that Pacquiao, if anything, look what happened in the Maypac fight. We've gone over this time and time again. The public is retarded. That's the reason why I said there's no point in even having a rematch. The public is filled with people that have IQs below 60. They just don't get it. They're never going to get it. You could break down a million slow-mo footage videos. It's not going to work. It's like talking to brain-dead individuals. They are never going to get that they were duped with Mayweather for Pacquiao. They fixed the CompuBox numbers. The footage slowed down, clearly shows Pacquiao was sticking him the whole freaking fight. That's why their faces looked the way they did at the end of the fight. But you all were convinced that Mayweather batted him around the ring. So he knows, he fights Crawford. Crawford's going to use the same formula because that's the formula to fool the idiot public. Play the Mayweather showboat move, stick around the ring, dance around, and you'll get the decision. As long as you're the red hot name, you'll get the decision. He knows that. So Pacquiao's thinking, you know something, why am I going to put myself in that position for? What, just to get robbed again? He said, no, I'll fight a guy who's a legitimate contender. But I know he's not going to take that approach. And I don't blame him. He's not avoiding Crawford because he's scared of Crawford. I mean, are we honestly that stupid? This guy didn't have enough pop to worry Postol. But you guys are actually worried that Pacquiao, who's taking shots from Cotto and legitimate 147s, he's taking shots from guys who are 154, a guy who's ready to face Canelo. You guys are honestly believing he's scared of the punch of Terence Crawford? Are we really serious about that? We all sat down and agreed that, man, Pacquiao is a guy who's, man, he just wants to fight, man. He's ready to take on Canelo. And everybody's like, we don't know why he wants to fight Canelo, but I think Canelo just has a little bit too much size for him. And we saw the destructive power Canelo has. We all agree Pacquiao is willing to go into that. We're all now sitting here legitimately saying Terence Crawford is more dangerous of a puncher than Canelo? Have we really become that stupid? But, you know, it is what it is. Like I said, I hope that fight with Danny Garcia materializes because I already know Danny Garcia is a guy who's somewhat underrated. And I just hope he goes into that fight because I know exactly how he's coming into that fight. He's fought movers before. And when Terence Crawford, I feel like Danny Garcia's power is translated better to 147 than most of his constituents. When you see the power land on Terence Crawford and all of a sudden you see him start to eat shots to the body and the head at 147 that he was not eating at 140, and you see his little crackhead frame crumble, then all of a sudden the hype train and the bandwagon riders are going to start to abandon ship. And I can't wait to see it.